Ella suddenly jumps to her feet with a very scared look on her face. There's no need to give me the test, the girl says. I promise I'll work my hardest. I won't disappoint you, I promise. Sudden outburst had temporarily rendered us speechless as we all paused to look at each other for a few seconds. Ella, nobody's testing anyone, Rose says. Please sit down, you must be really tired. Yes, sir, Ella says with a high-pitched tone, almost as if she's about to cry. Her defenses are breaking down. We're about to cry. She sits herself down again. Rose, what is she talking about? I say. What kind of test is she referring to? I don't know, Rose said. I've never heard of anything like this before. She's talking about the test of loyalty, Kate says all of a sudden. The test used to make sure the prisoners don't try to run away from their captor. They used it quite a bit at the beacon. I don't get it, Hardrick says. Why does the girl think that we are testing her? We never implied we were doing anything of the sort. So this is probably the sort of test where they'll leave a door open and see if we will run away or not. So then in a situation where the door is open, so if you run away when they open the door, they will obviously capture you because that is a predestined setting, and then later they will punish you if you leave. If you don't leave, they will give you some reward, and later when they actually make a mistake and leave the door open, then you probably won't run away thinking it's a test or something like the sort. So that sort of thing, probably. That's what I'm thinking. Because you're all being too nice, Kate says. And that's always how a test of loyalty begins. At the beacon, every now and then, a member of the Stars or a complete stranger would start acting very nice, considerate with one of the orphans out of the blue. After some time, when they're sure they've gained their trust, they certainly say that they wanted to help them escape. If the orphan believed them and followed the instruction, they would be recaptured by the very person they tried to help them and told that it was all test of loyalty and that they had failed. Then they would either be beaten senseless for breaking the rules, or they'll be killed to serve as an example for all the other orphans. This way, if anyone ever actually tried to help one of us, we'd never believe them and we'd choose to remain prisoners out of fear, Rose gasps. Yeah, probably. That's exactly what I just said. I already assumed that. My God, that's horrible, she says. But if what you say is true, then how are we going to convince Ella that we're telling the truth? We're not going to convince her, Kate says. Even after hearing us discuss things openly in front of her like this, she still probably thinks this is all just part of an elaborate act in order to make her lower her guard. She must think that once she agrees to rest, she'll have failed the test and will deem her worthless, just like that novel. That is hilarious to me. I mean, it's horrible, but that is hilarious to me. So this is a meaningless choice that we are supposed to make at this point, as far as I can tell. Wait, hold on. Oh, it says I'm supposed to receive 2 points. I have not received that. So this is a meaningless choice then. Yeah, let's go down. There's no point in asking Kate. She's not gonna know, so I'm just gonna order Ella to go trim the bushes from the garden in order to ease her fears. Fine, I say. Ella, go trim those bushes over there. That's an order. Yes, sir, the girl says as she gets up in a hurry and goes to search for some trimming shears. Damn it, Barry, Hardrick says. We're trying to help her, not stress her out even more. No, this is good, Kate says. Having something to do will at least ease her mind for the time being. In the meantime, we're going to have to think of a way to make her get more accustomed to her current situation. As Ella starts to trim one of the bushes, Rose's sibling come running out. Why do I say stupid shit and then laugh at it? Rose's sibling both come running out of the mansion. They stop right next to her, apparently trying to start a conversation. I think I might just have an idea, Rose says with a smile as she looks at the three of them. You're very pretty, Susie tells Ella. Thank you, miss, Ella says, looking a little confused. Susie giggles. I like you, she says. You're funny. I think I have the perfect job for you, Ella, Rose says as she approaches the girl. Why does she call him sir? It's a woman, so shouldn't she call him madam or something like that? What would you have me do, sir? Ella says. I want you to follow my little sister Susie around wherever she goes, and I want you to listen to her every order for the remainder of the day, Rose says with an evil smile. Of course, Ella says. I will not let you down. Susie gasps. If she'll do anything I say, she asks. Anything you say, Rose says with a smile. Susie squeals happily when she hears Rose's answer. Ella, follow me, she says. I know exactly what we are going to do next. Yes, sir. Yes, miss, sir, Ella says as she follows the little girl into the mansion. You sure that's a good idea? Hardrick says. I'm positive, Rose says. Now come on, I'll show you each to your rooms so you can unpack. After we each settled down in our own room, we went to meet outside with Rose, who needed to go visit the Sparrows district in order to bring all. Yeah, this is the same thing. We have seen this. We have seen this, but there's like some text that we have not seen. She's going to the Sparrow district to heal the sick or whatever. As we all wave goodbye to Rose, Susie suddenly comes out on the front door, pulling Ella by the hand while rushing towards us. If I did not know that Ella left with Susie a little while ago, it would have taken me a minute to figure out who this girl, whose hand the little girl was holding. The formal safe girl was nearly unrecognizable, as she was now wearing an elegant green dress while her hair has been cleaned up and meticulously braided. She looks stunning. I guess that explains what the two of them have been doing for the past 2 hours. Why would you send Rose alone? I mean, probably she lives in this town, so that's the reason they probably sent her alone. Ta-da! So he says, with a very proud look on her face. Wow, Hardrick says, that's quite the change. Are you sure? Are you the one who braided her, Susie? Yep, the little girl says, beaming. Isn't she beautiful? Come on, Ella, don't be shy. Turn around so everyone can see. Ella seems to be very flustered about all of this, and her cheeks could not be any more red. She probably isn't used to getting this much attention. She turns around just as order, as we could all have a look at her braided hair. Looking at it closely, you could clearly see that there's been a lot of work put in it. The girl must have been at it for at least the better part of an hour. Come on, Ella. So she grabs a hand and pulls her back towards the mansion. Let's play. Hardrick, Kate, Flower, and I spent the rest of the day at one of the picnic tables, chatting and eating some more of Flower's magically conceived delicacies. Darren did not come out of the mansion at all during the time, so he must have been spent most of the time in his room. As we all sat down at the table, every once in a while we'd catch a glimpse of Susie and Ella running around the yard or playing hide and seek. As the sun was starting to set, it was becoming clear that Ella was making a great effort to keep up with the little girl's demands as she got more and more tired. Faster, Susie says. As Ella runs around the yard giving her a piggyback ride. You can do it, Ella, faster. Hey, Susie, Rose's little brother says as he watches Ella run circles around the yard. Ella will do anything you say, right? Yep. The girl says, tell her to stand on her head. I don't think, this is the one thing that I did not like about giving a full person to a child. It gets out of hand really fast. What? Susie says, shocked. No, why would I tell her to do that? Because it'd be fun to watch, the boy says. I won't tell her to stand on her head, Kevin. Why not? She'd do everything you tell her. Do. So what's the problem? Doesn't mean we have to make fun of her, Susie says, visibly upset. Kevin says, you're no fun. No, you're no fun. I don't think. I just breathed into the mic. Like, I was trying to do the PFFT. I might have blew the speakers or something. You're not fun. Susie says, you're just a mean meanie head, and that's why you don't have any friends. Susie gets down from Ella's back and she hugs her tightly while giving her brother a menacing look. Don't worry, Ella, the little girl says. I would never do anything to hurt you. Ella now looks like she's barely able to stand on her feet. Thank you, miss, she says with the last of her strength. Then she faints due to exhaustion. Ella, Susie screams. When we see what happened, Hardrick and I both simultaneously rush towards Ella, and the first thing we do is to make sure the girl is alive. The girl is still breathing, but she has a very high fever. See, this is the thing. You need to be careful with these things. Why would you give it to a toddler or a fucking child, a whole person to play with? I did this, Susie says, as tears start streaming down her face. I killed her. I shouldn't have asked her for that piggyback ride. I should have seen that she was too tired. Now she's going to die, and it's all my fault. After she finishes her last sentence, the girl breaks down in uncontrollable crying and buries her head in her arms. Try to comfort Susie. Let someone else deal with Susie and go call Darren. This is not really an important choice from the looks of it. Yeah, it's not really an important choice. But what should I do? Should I comfort a child, or should I make sure the person who's sick gets the treatment? Well, I answered that myself. Let someone else deal with Susie and go call for Darren. I'll go get Darren, I say. You guys find an empty room and get her lying on a bed. Hardrick nods to me and go rushing through the mansion's door. Go up the stairs all the way to Darren's room. Darren, I shout as I knock hard as I can on the room's door. Darren, are you in there? Barry, what happened? Darren asks as he opens the door. Are we being attacked? No, but Ella just fainted from exhaustion. She has a really high fever, I tell him. We need your help. Lead the way, Darren says. I said it in such a fucking comedic tone. He did not say it like lead the way. He probably said it like that. And Darren says as he gets a serious look on his face. I take the stairs down and I head towards the empty room that's closest to the mansion's entrance, since that was probably where everyone else was headed. Sure enough, when we get get there, we see that everyone was already waiting for us, and that Ella was lying on the bed, still unconscious. Why didn't Ella even tell her to get some rest? Darren says he cast a healing spell on the girl. She was already exhausted enough when we first met her. We tried to, Kate said, but she wouldn't listen. She was too afraid that if she showed any weakness, we'd discard her without thinking, like that noble. That low-life bastard, Darren says, as he clenches his fist. I'd kill him if he weren't already dead. After Darren finished his spell, we could see that the girl's breathing was starting to become more relaxed. I took care of the fever. Holy shit, you can just heal fever? That is insane. I don't think that's a good idea, though. The whole point of a fever is to rest and relax. Not necessarily. Fever is technically a defense mechanism to heat up the body, to kill any invading things in the body. But still, it's a moment to relax, kick back a little bit. But the fatigue is still there. She'll need to rest for a while in order to fully recover. Oh gods, what happened here? Rose says as she enters the room, and she's all of us standing around Ella's bed. The girl overworked herself and she fainted from exhaustion. Darren says, I figured that might happen. Rose says, is she going to be okay? She's fine, Darren says. She's just tired, but she won't be able to work anymore for the rest of the day. I can still work, Ella says. She wakes up after hearing Darren's words. She tries to get up bed, only to fall on her back so soon. Ella, you're alive, Susie says, and she hugs her with all her might. You're alive. Master, I can still work, Ella says with a desperate look in her eyes. She tries to get out of the bed again, but fails. Please just give me another order. No, Rose says, as she frowns at her. You can't work anymore today. You can't even get out of bed. That means that as a slave, you are completely worthless to me now, and the only fate that awaits a worthless slave is death. Seriously, Rose? Ella looks at Rose with fear in her eyes, but she no longer has the strength to fight back. Rose grabs the girl's hand between her palms. She looks her in the eyes and she gives her a warm smile. You're not a slave anymore, Rose says. You have no longer been a slave ever since Barry saved you from that noble today. I did not bring you here to work for me as a slave. I brought you here to work as a maid. If I truly considered you to be a slave, then nothing should have stopped me from ending your life when you became a burden to me. You of all people should know this better than anyone. The fear in Ella's eyes is slowly starting to leave her. It looks as if she's finally beginning to understand what Rose really means. You're free, Ella, Rose says. You're no longer bound by anyone or anything. You can go anywhere you want, do whatever you want for as long as you want. You don't have to listen to anyone's orders ever again. You can make your own choices without living in fear. Rose pauses. But if you'll allow me to make a selfish request, Rose says, I would be very grateful if you chose to remain here. I don't have a lot of money to give you, and the kids will probably drive you mad half of the time. Well, Susie has already gotten very attached to you, and I think she'd really miss you if you were gone. I can't promise you that you'll have a good life here, but I can promise that we'll try our hardest to make you feel at home. Ella, would it be too much to ask of you to keep working for us for a while longer? No, Ella says as she looks like she's about to cry. Of course not. I would love to keep working here, and my time spent here has been the happiest of my life. I don't want to leave. I'll promise I'll work hard and that I'll never betray your trust. Then our contract is complete, Rose says as she smiles, shakes the girl's hand. You can start working chores as soon as you're fully recovered, but you will if you're really keen on not slacking off today, you can still play with Susie. I'm pretty sure she's not planning to leave your bedtime any soon. Now that Rose has finally managed to put Ella's worries to rest, she decides to leave her alone with Susie so that she could take her mind off work for a few hours. Since it was getting close to bedtime, we each started heading towards our own rooms and said we'd meet up again in the morning to plan what we wanted to do next. So there's so much interaction here, and I completely missed out on this because of the path I took, but still I am not against the path I took. Before going to bed, I took a long bath in one of the many bathrooms available in the mansion. It was nice to bathe in hot water for a change after all those days of washing in cold lakes and rivers. As I entered my room, my stat device started beeping loudly. It's been a while since I've gotten any new points to spend on my stats. I need to be extra careful with what I choose to upgrade this time, because at this rate, who knows when I'll get my next batch of points. I take the device out of my pocket and start thinking about how to make best use of these points. So I've only gotten 2 points this time, and I'm supposed to put the points in premonition. Here is premonition 1, 2. Points received 2, spend 2 points in premonition. So we print 2 points in premonition and confirm changes.